All right, so I'm talking about what's it called? Magic Maker. I just watched the anime. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. And once again, of course, another isekai on our hands, but a good one, and another one that takes what we already know and makes it basic. It makes it special and unique. So I'd say the trope that we have in this anime is it takes the protagonist who, of course, starts off very young and he's reincarnated very young, and he starts to go into magic. So you guys are familiar with the beginning after the end, or with jobless reincarnation. These are instances when they're reincarnated as a kid, and then they start delving into magic while they're still young, and that gives them a leg above the rest. Where this is unique is he's the only person that knows about anything close to what's called magic, while everyone else is unaware of such a thing. So he's not just learning magic at a young age, he's inventing it. So it kind of is a pretty fun ride. There's kind of a nice little slice of life, and I think the pacing is really good too, because it's not like he starts trying to invent magic and then within the first couple of episodes he's like started flying and shooting lightning bolts and stuff. It actually takes time for things to build their way up and actually formulate. So I think that's pretty good, cool. And I always appreciate it in isekai when the person uses their experience in their past life to kind of restructure the world around them. So when he starts using his like understanding of science to try and create new magic, and even the way he treats magic is almost like a science because it has its own laws and everything like that. So it's just kind of fun to see. So if you enjoy animes like Dr. Stone, or like what else is another educational anime where they talk about I think it's called, I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's like an anime where they like try to experiment and measure like love. So it's like they're testing the hypothesis if somebody is in love with somebody. So they're like doing all the tests and like running experiments to see if like what love is comprised of, what creates more love, and yada yada yada. So pretty much that's what this anime is about. And it's still action, but it's also like a slice of life. So like I said, the pacing is pretty decent, it's pretty good. So it's not like trying to learn magic one day and then the next day like they're flying and destroying mountains and stuff. But it's a good slow burn, so it's not too exciting for the most part, but it is like wholesome, I'd say. So it's a story mostly of like a son and a daughter just kind of like being kids, learning, growing up, interacting with their parents and one of their childhood friends. So all that great stuff. But how else would I continue to sell this anime? Like why would someone want to watch it? So what I kind of appreciate about it as well is there was a little bit of a sense of mystery to it. Like at some point you come to the conclusion that something isn't quite right, or not necessarily quite right, but there's something. Okay, I also like in an anime when they kind of make the isekai character a little bit more special. So let's say the character is isekai'd, and that gives him an advantage in the new world. But the question is why? Because why is it always that whenever someone comes to them from another world that they have an advantage? Usually those stories write that off by just saying, oh, this person is a hero, so a hero is always going to have some kind of special abilities. But in this case, the character was, this is kind of a spoiler, but I won't go into it until maybe a little bit later. But there's a reason for why this character is the one that seems to be creating magic, both him being from another world and also him being something in this world as well. So I think that's also pretty cool. And I also like how like it's a little bit emotional. Like the character, this is a bit of a spoiler. The character has been trying to like achieve magic since he was like a little kid. Like not a little kid, but since he was in his previous world. So honestly, I'd say it's almost similar to it's actually pretty similar to Eminence in the Shadows in that sense, where Sid, he had been training for like his entire life and he wanted to become super strong, but he knew that the one thing he needed was some kind of power system to actually to achieve it. So when he was isekai, he was actually incredibly happy for that because he was finally able to try and achieve magical power. So I think in a similar way, it's like that, except bro just waited based on the superstition that once you turn 30 and you're a virgin, that you become a wizard. But of course that didn't happen. But instead he died and came back. So I think that's pretty interesting. It's a pretty good way of going about it. This kind of makes me want to rewatch Eminence in the Shadows now. Eminence in the Shadows is a great anime. I don't want to turn this into a review for that. A review for that, but it's amazing. But honestly, other than that, I can't think of anything else I really want to say when it comes. I'm only at 5 minutes though, dang. Just watched it yesterday. So also like how this was a bit. I'll go into spoiler territory now. Also, like in the end when they finally defeated like the big bad, it was based on off the principles that he had actually learned himself. Because one big common theme about a character actually having to learn his power system or create a power system, while even if there are characters that are use it inherently, is that they have a more in-depth understanding of what actually allows things to happen, whether it's due to science or it's due to or prior science from their world, or it's due to just having to know the very basic levels for everything he did. And that is what allowed him to win in the end. I'd also say that on top of that, they didn't just make the adults seem useless or inept. So the adults still had some kind of like role to play within the story, instead of the children just kind of overcasting them. And that happens all the time in anime in general. But it'll always be like some random 12-year-old outshining all these adults that have been coming around doing things for a long time. And yeah, it's because like this kid is supposed to be special for one reason or another. But I like that in the end, he was able to get the victory without two of the closest male figures in his life. So that was actually pretty cool as well. So they were actually able to help. And even towards the end, they started alluding to some like power-ups kind of that would come from kind of like this battle that would now strength amplify or help the character in the next coming season. So I'm actually pretty looking forward to that a lot. But again, Magic Maker, I'd say it's like I can think of the exact video game, or I can think of it. It's called Lichdom Archmage. So pretty much is a game where it's pretty basic, but you kind of like create your own spells, or maybe Elder Scrolls, I think Morrowind, where they had its own system for you creating your own magic. It was pretty in depth. I'd say it's kind of like that. It's kind of like giving the character free reign to see what he can make or see what he can discover, really. Like another example of that is there's a game called Outward, and the magic system isn't like told to you even via tutorials. You kind of have to figure it out with trial and error, and you kind of figure out like what you're able and capable to do, even by combining spells, combining different skills, and all that stuff. There's not like an exact like scroll or teacher telling you this is what you do. So I think that's always fun, like that experimentation side of things. So I think that's what makes Magic Maker just like really cool, because you think isekai, you think not just monsters and stuff, but you also think magic. But in this case, the magic wasn't already there, so it's cool seeing like all the characters react to something like this entering the world for the very first time. So I think that's about it. I don't really have much else to say about it, but definitely it's anime worth the watch, so I'll leave it at that.